Boris Johnson wants to give millions of people the right to buy the homes that they rent from housing associations in a policy move that will replicate his predecessor.
Well, the government believes that this can help what is called generation rent to get onto the property ladder. But will it be enough to fix the housing crisis? Deputy Director, General Rent, Dan Wilson, Craw, joins us now. Dan, what do you think of this policy? I would have thought this was a disgraced policy. This has been implemented before and terrible repercussions as a result.
The big problem with right to buy in the past and the reason why it does have that bad reputation is because the government sold off a huge number of council homes at a discount and didn't allow the councils to then replenish the stock, the houses that were sold off, and just to make them available for more people who needed homes that at a rent that was lower than what the market provides. And without a really ambitious program to replace all that social housing, then we're going to have another disaster on our hands. But my main concern with the current policy is that it's not it's not targeted in the right way. The real problem with the crisis in home ownership arises because the number of private renters has doubled in the past couple of decades, and there's now about maybe 4 times as many under 45s who are renting for private landlords than there are renting from housing associations who this policy is directed at. So it's very small beer in terms of in terms of the impact it could have, and it's a bit mystifying and frankly embarrassing that the
rather
government
than
thinks
giving
that
all the power to private landlords, surely the answer is more social housing, not less of it.
Absolutely, yes. So I think ultimately whether you have right to buy or not, fundamentally you need much more social housing. You need to be building much more social housing because it will help people who are currently struggling with private market rents to pay their bills. We've got a huge cost of living crisis right now, and a big part of it is the fact that people are spending 30, 40, even more than half of their income on rent. If you give them a chance to live in a socially rented home, then that cuts their bills by a huge amount. But we need a really ambitious program to make that happen.
To a really inspirational social housing campaigner who, a really young guy, he'd been using his phone to film falling down, crumbling social housing and really exposing some of the conditions that people are being forced to live in social housing in this country. The government have rightly identified that a lot of people would welcome the opportunity to be able to tackle the repairs themselves, to improve the properties themselves if they could. And the idea of being able to own their own place at a discounted price would empower many people, though, wouldn't it?
It would do. I think, lots of people, and it's a natural feeling to want to buy and own your own home, to make all the decisions about it. That's, it makes a lot of sense, giving people that opportunity. I think the trouble is because rents are lower in the social sector, social tenants compared to private tenants who maybe on the same salary or same wages, social tenants actually have a better chance already to buy their own home because they aren't paying as much in rent. They can put more aside every month, whereas something the private renters don't have. So giving them another advantage, will potentially, for the Tory party, disillusion a lot more private renters who might be willing to vote for them.
OK, Dan, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Dan Wilson, Craw, Deputy Director, Generation Rent. you know, I have to say that we benefited, my family, from being able to buy our council house in about 1982 or so under the Thatcher policy, which all felt well and good, and it was fantastic to be able to get on the ladder, and it gave us a lot of self-respect and esteem, I think. But the awful thing, the betrayal, was that housing stock was never replaced. And that is where it goes wrong. You just can't sell this off and have no social housing for people. You just create a bigger and bigger problem. We should be building more select, more tailor-made social housing, not selling it off. But
what happens, you know, these people who then, you know, benefit by getting their own property, if they miss a payment, and, you know, they have to deal with the private sector then, they're going to have much less sympathetic banks than they would from social housing in those sorts of situations.
Well, a lot of them
very
just
quickly
sell it
into
off again and make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a difficult...
And then they'll sell it to people who'll rent it out.
Well,
It's just, you know, it's a fast buck for somebody or other.
Let us know your experiences, your thoughts on this morning. Get in touch the usual ways. We'd love to hear from you.